Hey, this is Russ McLellan. Thanks for tuning in again to the Small Towns Unscripted. We're a little different location. We're at Watson's Alpenhorn Cafe, and I love this because I believe old school is new school. Check that sign out. Brand new, old-fashioned fun. Now, if you haven't been to Watson's Alpenhorn Cafe, it's right above the Lake Chelan State Park. But we just held a podcast with the girls and Herschel from 1960. A lot of fun. Bub Watson and Bob Watson, they've been huge supporters of our podcast. We can't do this stuff without support, so I just wanted to say thank you. And if you like the podcast, come get a cheeseburger, whatever you like, chicken strips, french fries, milkshakes. It's right here at the Alpenhorn Cafe. Thanks again. All right, well, welcome everybody. This is kind of fun. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be here today. Another episode of Small Towns Unscripted. And wow, we had like 15 or 20, but we got the all-star team here.
Thank you. The other group's gonna be mad now. You know that, right?
Yeah. And it's a little different setup. Before I introduce everybody, this is Bub Watson's Alpenhorn. He's nice enough to let us. They're closed on Tuesday, so this is what we're taping. And he's a big proponent of ours, and we wanted to make sure everybody comes to the Alpenhorn, eats their burgers and fries, and do what I did as a kid and bring your boat up to the state park and walk up here. Everybody guys are like, that's old school. We did that.
We did that.
So anyway, welcome. My name's Russ McLellan. This is Nicole Turner. And let me make sure I get everybody's name right. Or maybe I'll just have you, I'll just do it and you tell me if I'm wrong. Herschel Joyner?
Yes.
All right. We got Karen Joyner.
Yes.
Morrison Joyner?
Yes.
Okay. We got Roberta Elgin Lloyd.
That's right.
We got Sharon Conklin-Starr. And Janey Lee McLellan.
McLellan. Right. Yeah. Good.
You should know how to say that.
Yeah, I'm McLellan.
Right.
One of those 2C guys.
Yeah.
She's a 1C girl. All right. Well, what's fun about this, and I said 15 or 20 because, it all started. You remember how we all got connected?
Yes, I do.
Tell that story.
Okay. I was listening to Russ on the radio, or on my phone, actually, is how I communicate. And he had Mark Evans on the podcast, and they were talking about a book that Mark had written. And so I called the office after a day or two, and Russ, I told him that I was interested in this book. Well, it wasn't one of those that was just readily available, so he said, well, I'll get you one. So I don't know what he did, but in a few days he called and said, I have this book, I'll bring it to you. So they came to my home and sit down and gave me this signed book from Mark Evans. Oh, wow. And so it was really cool, and I've read it, and I'm going to pass it around to some friends.
Yeah, Dancing with Disaster is the name.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, with the hydros.
And you'll understand, Evans. So
Yes.
anyway, so that's how this started, and then he said something about, why don't you be on the podcast? And I thought, I just don't think I want to do that by myself. So I told him about our class, and so that's kind of how it revolved into this. And I'm really thankful. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
It's such an honor to hear these stories. You guys knew my mom and dad pretty well.
Yes.
And then, my grandma Daisy and my grandma Hazel.
Yes.
And so it's fun to, know the people of my dad's era. And then also, I'm 56 now, so I can go all the way down to had my son on the podcast with Connor Stevens, which was Jack Stevens' grandson. So I'm kind of at that age where I know people from all demographics.
Yes. Yeah.
And I got to thinking about how this town has changed. And Tara Kalin is also one of our hosts that's not here today, but there's two things we try to accomplish really at the beginning of this, and it's all about uniting people, but it's really about getting to know people instead of them. I don't know how you guys feel, but I've lived a lot of different phases in my life. So depending on when you knew me, I was 16 once, going very fast in a car. Like Mike Collins said, I just talked to Mike. I'm doing a deal next to this. I sold his house, and he said, "Yeah, I remember you driving a sports car about 100 miles an hour with your head out the window, blow drying your blonde hair." And I made my kids get around the school bus. So you might have known me then, but we know somebody in an industry. Maybe you ran into a policeman that gave you a ticket. Well, you don't like that policeman anymore because that's one point in time, and that's knowing of someone and not really getting to know them. And I think we're kind of guilty of that in a small town. We tend to do that over the years. And what this does, I hope, is kind of let people just kind of anonymously watch and hopefully get to know each other a little more. And the other reason is just to, as the town changes, that word local, it's weird. I believe that anybody can be a local if you're a good person and you're trying to get involved, whether you're here a day or 100 years. We should always respect all the people that were here, and not to the level of worship or anything, but it's like it's admirable that these families have been here, like many of you, for generations.
Yes.
And it's also neat that people want to live here, that if they're good people and they're nice people, then I think this podcast kind of helps break down, hopefully, some of the barriers. Is that fair?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the historical record, too, of some of these really fun stories and how life used to be.
Oh.
Yeah, hearing, that's a great point, Nicole. Hearing from the source. I have a friend who's from outside the country. He's American, but he's from outside the country, a friend of mine, and he said, history is often written by politicians in power. And it's not always the way it really was. So with the new technology like this, where people can get on and really hear, to Nicole's point, the authentic stories from the source. Like we were just talking about apple boxes versus apple bins and mowing in both directions. I think that's awesome. So anyway, we call this Small Towns Unscripted because I don't really have a script. As you guys know, I sometimes ask for a little info, but getting to know you guys a little bit as we had something to eat, I know that we're not going to have a problem talking. I see why you get together every month. So what I'd like to know is maybe we can just kind of, whoever's comfortable, tell us your story a little bit about your childhood and your family and where all y'all came from, so to speak.
And also, to preface back on where Roberta was saying, is this is the Chelan class of 1960, right?
Yeah, 1960.
So that's the group that you guys get together once a month.
Yes.
Right.
And there's usually 16, 20 of you?
About 15, 20.
Yeah,
16
to 20.
That you guys get together once a month, and that's so cool.
And Karen's 1962.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I said,
She is younger.
she's always going to be the young one.
Yeah. I'm a Trojan, he's a goat.
We got to stick together, Karen. And she's a wildcat from East Mont. So.
Oh, okay.
Wenatchee guy. Yeah. And Hector's a Wenatchee guy. So we got to stick together until we goats.
We're local adjacent.
Yeah. Anyway, why don't we start with you, Herschel? Tell me about your family.
Sure. Okay. It kind of starts with my grandfather. His name was R. Cook. He lived in Oklahoma. He was in World War I. Went to Paris. And came home, married my grandmother, and went through a really tough time of farming in the Dust Bowl of
Great Depression
of Oklahoma during the 30s, and one of his boys had just got out of the army and had come to Chelan and had found that there was work here, and so he went home and told his parents, at least you'll have a job. And yes, they were sharecropping, and there was nothing to share.
Right.
It was really tough. And so they put everything on auction, sold all of their equipment, their mules, and loaded everything in a truck. Everything but the land. They had 50 acres of land. They just kept that. And came out and went to work for a fellow named Tom Clausen, Bud Clark's stepdad.
Okay.
On the South Shore, right down here. He had 100 acres of orchard.
Wow.
And so they came out. He got a job. His two boys got jobs. Glenn Cook, that you might have heard his name, and Norm Cook were his boys. My mother, Nola, married. Well, actually, my dad came out with his parents. He finished school here. He talks about Mrs. Rainier being one of his teachers. This would have been in 1940.
Wow.
and so he finished school, went back to Oklahoma, and Mom was graduating that year. She graduated. They went over to the preacher's house, and he was sick. So they said, "Well, it's all right. We'll stand at the end of the bed. You marry us, we'll go to Washington." And so they came back to Washington. Dad worked for Tom Clausen for a couple of years, and was fortunate enough to buy an orchard. And our story starts and ends with apples.
Wow.
And so that's kind of where my parents came through and started with just a small 10-acre orchard.
And that was pretty common for
It was.
decades.
Right.
10, 15
Right.
acres
You could make a living on a
raised
10-acre
kids.
orchard.
Yeah.
If you didn't mind working out a little bit,
Yeah.
But yeah, that worked out fine. I guess I was not that great a kid when I was 5 years old. My mom said, "Yeah, I've had enough of this. You're going to school." Well, you couldn't go to school unless you were 6 years old. I was only 5.
Okay.
But I was going to be 6 on the 10th of October, and the deadline was the 1st. So immediately my birthday changed to the 1st of October. And I went to first grade. And that was the first year that Morgan Owens
Yeah.
was open.
Oh, you were
1948.
the first
We were
inaugurating
first
class
grade, first class. We were all in that.
at Moe Elementary School.
Right, yeah.
Mo.
And you were all there at that
Yes.
time.
We
Yeah.
were there. Yes, we have pictures to prove it.
Wow, we're gonna need some signatures.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Right.
That's awesome. So where was your first 10-acre apple orchard? Was it on the South Shore too?
What's
Was that your parents bought?
Oh, no. It was down by where the warehouses are, down just off of. See, what is that? Is that Dietrich? Not
Dietrich, no.
Down by the warehouse towards Chelan Falls?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was right on the edge of the river.
Henderson or something?
It's set right below the
Yeah.
Riverview Cemetery.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The next step down, right
Yeah.
there. That's-
Chestnuts out in there somewhere.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Verl Miller bought it from us.
Okay.
He lived there for quite a while.
That's fun.
So, so that's where I grew up, was on that orchard right there.
All right. Well, I'm going to come back to that. That's
All right.
How about let's go to the other side, Roberta. Tell us your story about your mom and dad and so on.
I was born in Lakeside because at the same time that I was born in 1941, Tom Pickett, who was a Chelan resident for quite some time, was also born that day. So he got to go to the hospital, and I got to go to the nursing home in Lakeside. And I just found out that I never had a birth certificate all these years until I went to get my enhanced driver's license. And they said, this is a certificate of birth, not a Washington State driver's license or a birth certificate. So then I had to go through the Department of Health over in East Wenatchee, go through the rigmarole of getting that. That cost me $35, and the enhanced driver's license was $44. So I had a little spendy day there, and I got my enhanced driver's license so that I can go see the Mariners in March down in Arizona. I go
Okay.
to spring training.
Peoria.
My granddaughter lives down there.
That's
so.
fun. Good for you.
So anyway, back to my parents. My dad's name was Homer Elgin, and my mother's name was Ruth. She was a Simmons, and my mother was, when I was 8 years old, was the last year that she walked. She had what we called crippling arthritis, or rheumatoid arthritis is what they call it. And so she was in a wheelchair from the time I was 8 on, and
Wow.
my dad worked for the city for 25 years, and then when he retired, he was he did bicycle repairs for kids in
That's
the
where I
neighborhood,
remember,
and
yeah.
he was really active in the Eagles, and he was active in the bike-a-thon that we used to raise money for the float of the Lake Chelan float that we used to have. And so when he was not able to ride his bike out to the state park and back, we put his stationary bike in the back of his pickup, and nailed it down so it wouldn't go anywhere. And I drove the pickup out there, and he rode further than he would have if he'd actually rode the bike out there and back on it.
That's a good addiction right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So he was just an awesome guy. I mean, I had awesome parents, and then he was just really.
And
just
he could find water.
He was
Yes,
a water
he was
witch.
a water
That's
witch.
maybe where I remember him too. I remember
And
him.
he witched lots of water.
Yeah,
And I
yes, he
still
did
have
mine.
people saying
Yeah.
that he witched for them.
Oh, wow.
So that was very good. And so kind of a funny story about that is years after my mother passed in 1966. She was 55 years old. And so anyway, we kind of took over the care, my husband at the time, and I took over the care of my dad. And so anyway, I was cleaning out the freezer one day, and there was a little Band-Aid can in there, and it was full of, I had $8,000 in it,
Frozen money.
So,
Yeah.
so my dad, he just, he made a lot of money witching for water. Yeah. So that was his claim to fame, I guess. And my mother was a poet, and she wrote poetry, and I still have her book. She illustrated all of her poems with pictures, and so I was able to get a hold of that.
Was that published or just for your own personal?
I just have it from my own personal
that'd be
stuff.
neat.
But I have some people have written those out and taken them for their personal use.
Yeah, put them in electronic form
Yeah.
so everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
So,
be cool.
Yeah. So, anyway, when as growing up, I had an older sister, Mary Ann, who was actually my mother's before she married my dad, and then she was 2 when they went. But anyway, she was raised as an Elgin. So anyway, and then I had a younger sister, Willa, who was 4 years younger, and she lives in Glens Ferry, Idaho. She loves watching the podcasts.
Oh, she does?
Oh, yes. And
Well,
she
tell her
calls
thank
me
you.
all the time and says, I might not know these people, but she says, I really like their stories. So I
tell her I
talked
appreciate
to her
that.
a lot, and I was able to go see her in May, and I hadn't seen her for probably 10 years. So
wow.
that was really nice. Her birthday was in May, so my daughter from Kennewick and my granddaughter from Arizona flew up, and we went and surprised her for her birthday. So that was a great time. So anyway,
that's
and so
neat.
I was my mother's nurse. My sister worked at the theater, and my younger sister was just, she was a younger sister. So anyway, and then
That's
I just
great.
graduated from Chelan High School, went to beauty school for a while, and then I got married and stopped that. So that anyway, started having children. And
Where did your grandparents come from?
actually, my over in Tacoma, all my aunts and uncles and my grandparents lived in Tacoma.
Okay.
And my grandfather died when I was pretty young, but my grandmother and one of my aunts lived on East Fairbanks in Tacoma for years and years. And
Right.
my grandma died when she was about 92, I believe.
Yeah, that's interesting. We hear a lot of different stories from Missouri and Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and now that first
But
generation came out here.
And I think they were in Oregon at one time too. It's funny when I'm 25 years old when my mother dies, so I don't know any of her history. I don't know when I'm in my 20s that I even want to know where'd you come from,
Yeah.
But so
That's fun.
I missed a lot of that, but
Yeah, but that's one of the things that I love about this too now. Your great-grandkids, great-great-great-grandkids that aren't even born yet,
yeah.
Right.
they'll have this technology will be available in some form.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
kind of had this idea that somebody said it the other day. They said you should take this when you're, maybe a year in. We're probably 7-8 months in or something, and make it a slideshow at the museum or make it available to more people.
Right.
And so those stories, you can hear from, wow, that was my grandmother. Or, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And we do get that. Remember, the grandkids
Yeah.
will go on social media and go, hey, that was my grandma on the podcast. That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody yell at me at the Shell station the other day, and I thought he was leaning out his car door, and I don't know, he kind of aggressive, and I was like, what'd you say? I'm like, what? And he goes, hey, I love the podcast. Oh, good. I'm not in trouble after all. Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go next? I love this so much.
I will. Or do you want to? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We got
go
lots
ahead.
of time.
Mine's
Yeah.
going to be a little different than what hers was. so.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I love. They're all good.
Oh,
Well, it was my grandfather that came from, well, he and my grandmother had gotten together, and we don't know how that happened. I mean, she was in Canada with her family, and my granddad went to Iowa, the University of Iowa, and it, we just wish that we could sit down and talk to them and ask, now, how did you get together? But anyway, they were living in Didsbury, Canada, and my granddad had come from Iowa, and he had, there was a lot of children, like 6 or 7, I guess, and maybe that's not so many when you think of these big families
Yeah.
back then.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, he decided that he would come to Chelan to visit 2 of his sisters who were here. One of them married a Kingman, and another one a Farron. And so when he came, he fell in love with the lake, and they were out of Calgary, which was dry, and they weren't doing very well. And they have we have pictures of the shack that they lived in, which was like a 1-room building. And anyway, so that was when he was like 19. He went back to Canada. Somehow he married my grandmother. And when my mother was under 2, anyway, they decided it was time to move. And he wanted to come to Chelan. He also looked at the Okanagan Valley, but he was fascinated with water and thought Chelan was just pristine. And so, and because he had sisters here, that drew him. So they came, and they came, I think, partway by train, if this makes any sense, and then ended up near Chelan Falls and came across and then up on the stagecoach. And so that was in 1911.
I love that I said that so like, and came up on the stage.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, it's interesting how.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he bought an orchard, and I don't know, now I'm curious how many acres it was. It was over there by, is it called Riverfront Cemetery or up there?
Riverview.
Yeah,
Riverview.
Riverview.
Yeah.
Over by my dad's.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's where my mother was pretty much raised. But then his health began to give way, and so after they'd been there, it looks to me more like they were there 15, 20 years or whatever. But then when they had to move, they moved into Gibson and lived where Mrs. Scott lived on Gibson, if any of you remember where that was. And then he started looking for lakeshore property, and that was in the early 30s. I think we have it down as 1933, that he bought property up above what is now Kelly's, beyond Kelly's, about half a mile. And we still have that property, and now it's really thrilling to see the grandkids beginning to live there. My son lives in what was the log cabin, and they've refurnished it and refinished it to make it a year-round home. And it's small, but it's precious. And you just have to keep working at those. It's on a hillside, but it comes right down to the water. And we're surprised how many people will say, "You have waterfront property?"
Well,
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for my granddad,
Yeah.
we would not have.
Right.
Right, and it's also, I don't know if admirable is the right word, because people have to do what they have to do. When you have to sell, you have to sell. But you think about like Bob Watson, are letting us use this Alpenhorn. Well, they're celebrating their 110th anniversary. And you think about how many people have tried to buy that, and how much money they've probably been offered. And I don't know, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And the fact that it's still in the family. Now, what's sad is, and I've had to help a lot of people in this situation where the taxes get to a place where
Yes.
these inherited properties, nobody expected them to be worth
Right.
$5
No.
million and
Right.
pay $40,000 in taxes a year.
I know.
So they're forced to sell, and that's a sad part about
It
our
is.
Yeah.
our system. You get the advantage when you sell, but that tax assessment doesn't go when you sell it, like maybe in
No.
California. But anyway, it's pretty
No.
neat. You're saying it's
Yeah.
almost 100 years
Yeah.
in your family.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
And my sister, when it came time to divide the property, my family inherited what had been the Utterback cabin, and my sister inherited what was the Conklin cabin and where we lived. And then they had purchased another rock cabin that Mrs. Green had, Esther Green, if you
Yes,
remember her.
yes.
She had my dad build it, and it's a rock canyon. It's pretty precious, and it's small also.
Wow.
But so we have that much property across that belongs within the family, and that can be complicated at times.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it's been just a wonderful experience for me to be able to come back to Chelan because I no longer live here full time and be here for 2 months every summer and have a place to stay. So many of our classmates who live across the United States now are starting to not come because I mean it's
They
very
can't.
expensive to
Right.
stay in the hotels and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I feel lucky.
Well, that's awesome. And precious is a good word.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start using that in my real estate ads.
Yeah.
I'll start writing my ad copy for me. Well, that's fantastic. I love this story so much. How about you? What's the
Well,
story for you?
My story is going to be a little different. I was born here in Chelan, not in the hospital, but in a private home. And I was born to a Roy Curtis Lee and Elizabeth Lee. And I lived in 3 different families before I was 2.5 in this town. And then it was quite by a fluke that I got invited to stay with Carl and Gladys Walsborn. And they took care of me till I was 10 years old, and due to circumstances, I got adopted at 10 years of age. And so they were fantastic parents, wonderful, wonderful parents. Raised me in a strict Lutheran church, and I was an only child, so I was spoiled. But I didn't have everything either, but you know, it was fun. But anyway, went to school my whole life here in Chelan, graduated Chelan High School with the lovely goats, 1960.
There you go.
And of course I went to Seattle, and I worked for almost 2 years at the FBI office. And then I got married, lived in Auburn for 37 years. And then my second husband and I, after his heart bypass, we moved to Chelan, 1994. Took care of my mother, took care of him, and they both passed away in 2005. And then I really became very, very active with all my Chelan goats and my Chelan classmates.
Yeah.
And so it's been wonderful. And a highlight of my life was in 2011, I went to Alabama and visited both sides of my biological family.
Okay.
My mother was the youngest of 13 children.
Yeah.
So I had lots and lots of cousins. And now there are only 2 left, but I keep in touch with them, and I found out so much about my family. Some good, lots good, but some bad. But it was wonderful learning who you were and where you came from. So I always say I have 2 wonderful sets of parents.
That's
They both
fantastic.
loved me.
What a great story. You seem like a
So-
person that's been selfless and
Well,
helping a lot of people.
I had such wonderful friends, and
Yeah.
I grew up in a church, and with all these classmates, it's like a family. You have a family.
Yeah,
with
that's a
all
good
of
point.
these.
You said something about when, getting a little complicated with, inherited land, and then the fact that the same class, so many years later, is still getting together. So, what's the secret to that? Where you and I both know, I mean, how many kids were in your senior class, you guys?
64.
64. I had 22 in Manson, right? 64, 22, it's about the same. there's a lot of personalities in these
Oh,
classes.
yes. Oh, yes.
And so, sometimes these class reunions fade away as people get older. What's the secret to not only having something to look forward to every month in this lunch that you all do from the 1960 Chelan Goats class, but to have a good time with it and to stay friends and I'm sure there's been forgiveness, I'm sure there's been grace, and people have had good times and bad times, and good people do bad things and bad people do good things, and so what's the secret to this this whole arrangement you have?
Because the older you get, the more you want to give of yourself, and you love to be with people that have the same interests.
Yes.
And we all get along, and we're mild now, and we think back at all the good times that we had.
Play
And
down the
Chelan-
negatives and
Oh, yes.
focus on
And the lake
Yeah.
was ours. The town was ours. It was a community. And we knew everybody. And now, if you hear the name, oh, yeah, she was related to so-and-so and
Yeah,
so-and-so.
that's right.
And, oh, yeah, I remember his folks, and I knew his grandmother. And my mother, Gladys, knew your grandmother, Daisy, very, very much. She liked her
I'd love to
very
get your
much.
opinions on my folks and grandmas.
Very nice.
I wish I would have
Very
had my
nice.
mom and dad on this. They were
Yes.
pretty
Oh,
selfless
I can
people.
imagine, yeah.
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 Yeah,
But-
he farmed out there with my dad a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Manson. He was a hard worker.
I think one thing too is we no longer want to up one another.
Yeah.
You know, when we
No.
had our
Yeah.
10-year reunion, everybody was saying, "Oh, I just bought a new motorhome. I just went on a vacation to Hawaii." Well, those things don't matter anymore.
No.
You know, and
No.
you don't have to one up anybody. You're just on a
No.
level ground here.
Right.
We all had life experiences, good
Yes.
and bad, and
That's right.
we've just been through it all. I mean, everybody has been through that, and now we're just friends, and some of us are friends outside of our little circle as well as our
Oh,
circle.
yes.
Well, it
So-
seems like that gives you the bridge to have friendships outside if you want them, or if it
Oh,
feels
yeah.
compelling
Right.
one day.
It's
You know,
not just
and
our,
it's like a support system.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
We
It
really,
really
is.
and it's just not our class. It's anybody that we know that's an old goat or a Manson Trojan. We know who they
Gotta
are.
include y'all.
My first husband was an old goat. He was 5 years older than I was, and we had two beautiful kids, and we
good
still
for you.
have two beautiful kids. But so I think it's just the fact that a small town brings you closer, and everybody that comes back to visit, they want the same thing.
Yeah.
It
The
seems
good
like,
memories.
Yeah, it seems, gratitude. I always say gratitude is the one thing that assassinates anxiety.
That's right.
Do you guys believe that?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes.
I like that.
My grandma used to say, she was funny. She outlived 3 husbands, right? And I'd say,
Oh, she
Grandma,
was-
you're kind of hard on men. She's like,
She was a fun
they just
lady.
couldn't keep up with me. And I asked her one time, I was like, no matter what, you're always happy. Like, she said things like, I had to save more money if I was going to live this long.
Yeah.
And she lived to be 101, right? And she was sharp. But
Yes,
I'd
yes.
asked her, how do you stay so positive? Because I've never heard you say like a negative thing in my life. And I was around her quite a bit growing up, and she told me, she said, it's a powerful statement. She said, just find one thing you're grateful for that day.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're having a hard day, just find one thing you're grateful for and focus on that.
That's right.
Do you agree with that?
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely.
Not always easy though, is it?
No.
Focus
It's,
on the good things.
Focus
Yeah.
on the good things.
And I would say living away like I have, it's been this group that has reached out to me when I married a man, we were childhood sweethearts, and so he died young when he was 41. And this class reached out to me where others were sort of holding back and just letting me be, sort of. And it was, I think that there's something about what we experienced growing up,
right.
that it's a bond that we're not willing to let go of.
That's right. That's right.
That
I
it's,
feel that for my class too. I think
yeah.
it's something special about this place.
It
that way.
is.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
there
think
is.
so.
We camped together, or we had slumber parties, or we were
Oh,
in
yes.
different organizations
Organizations.
together,
Yeah.
and it's been
They all
certainly.
came to the theater where I worked.
Yes.
Oh, yes, right.
Oh yeah.
I just told Nicole what the movie was all about.
I didn't go inside yet.
Yeah, you haven't gone inside. We had to get you
Oh
inside.
gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Well,
It's
it was different back then when I was. I went to work. My sister worked for the theater, so I got a job. You know, as often people do. You got to know somebody.
Yeah.
And when I was 14, I was usher, and so as the years went by, I got to be the cashier and ran the place and all of that. But down underneath that stage in the theater was the boiler
yeah.
and a big old organ that was down in there, and I had to go down there when I was like 15 years old and turn that boiler off every night. And
Like,
I to this day I am afraid of the dark.
I like those spiders.
Understand that.
But
Yes.
I just think back every time I go to the theater. I think about that.
Well, things change.
It
Oh,
has
yes.
changed a lot.
Karen, so,
Yep.
so you were
Yes.
in 1962,
Yes,
and now Earl Stanford told us we had a movie theater in Manson too for quite some time.
we did.
Yeah.
We
So
did.
tell me about your childhood and your family.
Oh, I'm sure you want to know.
I do. I love it so much.
Oh,
Well, my mother came from a family of 12. She, a decay family, and I don't know how Mom and Dad hooked up, and I don't know how they got here.
It's magic.
But Dad bought 10 acres of orchard, and we worked, my brothers and I, Robert, Willie, Ellen, Eugene, Kenny.
Good memories.
And we kids went to school. My brothers loved to hunt and fish. And when we got our chores done in the wintertime, we could take our sleds and go sliding down
Mud road.
Chandler. We called it Chandler Hill
Yeah.
because Chandlers lived, Len and Alan Chandler lived at the bottom of the hill, at the bottom of Scout Hill, where the
Right.
three crosses are.
Yeah. Jeffries lived there right there.
Yeah.
And we could sled there just about till 11 o'clock at night if we were good at it. We used to go bulldogging, which I don't know if you know what that is.
Like hooky bobbing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you hang on the back of a Jeep or something.
I don't know, so please
No.
describe.
Well, you're going down, you're sledding,
Okay.
you're going down, and you go beside another sled, and you grab a hold of the runner, and you whip it, and you go
I was thinking of something else.
into the lake.
into the
So it's a
lake.
game of
Oh
who can
my.
make the other person
Definitely.
go into a banking crash.
You gotta remember, I'm the only girl, and we're sledding.
I told you you were a survivor.
She grew up tough.
Yeah, you're an independent, tough woman.
Yes.
And we worked on the farm. My dad, bless his sweetheart, decided that I needed to learn how to shoot a rifle. Guns were always put up in the closet in their bedroom that were not to be touched. The boys could take them down and practice with them, but not I, because I didn't know how. So in the bottom of the
The bank. It was the bank then. It's the museum. Yeah. Oh no, you're talking about Manson.
I'm talking about Manson.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the
No.
Legion Hall.
The Legion Hall.
Oh, yeah.
In the there's a basement in the Legion Hall that has a cement, and they gave training to anybody that wanted to get a deer's license.
Yeah. I did mine there.
Yeah.
And my brother and I, Eugene and I, Kenny and I,
The safety course.
they taught us how to shoot a rifle, how to load it, how to shoot it, and how to take care of it, and what you didn't do with it when you're out honey,
Yeah.
do not lay your rifle up against a fence because it's loaded. And if it falls, it could go off. And you just never know. If I had any problems, I went to my oldest brother, Robert, and he would talk to me about things that my parents wouldn't.
Sounds like you were close to Robert.
He was. He was a good brother.
Yeah. I don't think I would have wanted to mess with you, with Robert.
Yeah,
I'm afraid of Robert. I don't even know.
No, and I didn't date much because if a boy had asked me out, my brothers would go and just practically harass the devil out of me. So I didn't date much at all.
Herschel was brave.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I met Herschel one Saturday at a Cozy Hawk. I don't know if you remember those. Cozy would go and they would provide the music, and it was in
Where the library
where
is
the
now.
library is now.
In Manson?
No, this
No,
is
Chelan.
Chelan.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chelan.
Chelan.
Uh,
Ding,
at that time.
Masonic Temple.
Masonic Temple.
Masonic
Masonic
Temple.
Temple.
Yeah.
Right.
And from like 7 to 11.
Is Cozy like the radio station?
Like the radio
the
station.
radio station.
Yeah.
Like a sock hop, but a cozy hop.
Yeah,
Cozy
right.
Hawk.
Got it.
That's cute.
Cozy Hawk.
Yeah.
And kids came from everywhere.
Oh,
Leavenworth,
yes.
Cashmere,
Wenatchee.
Waterville,
Yeah.
Brewster.
So my dad told me stories, and Earl Stanford kind of also said that they'd go to Chelan a lot when they were in high school and get in some fights every week. And my dad was always joking. I think I can never tell whether those guys were telling me the truth or pulling my leg, but my dad would always say like the Pittman brothers and
Yep.
Earl, they were all bigger guys, and he go. They'd always make bets. My little guy can beat up your little guy. My dad was always a little guy. So
Oh,
I
wow.
don't. So was that the same dance hall, or is this another?
No,
No.
that's not. That was the UFO.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the UFO.
Yeah.
And Karen had a couple of brothers that would show up at those fights.
And they would like pick them up afterwards. And buy them.
The Morrison boys were known in Chelan. I remember being at a dance, high school dance in Chelan one time. And we had to dance. The dances were down in what was, it was the old high school,
Yeah.
and
Kind
they
of
had
an auditorium.
had an auditorium.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't
you,
real
you went
big,
down
but
3
it
or 4
was,
steps
Yeah,
and then
right.
into there. And I remember
Bottom
being
floor.
in there at that dance, and somebody came in the back door and they ran down the steps and said, "The Morrison boys are in town."
Told you I was afraid of them already. You just proved my point. I can see why you didn't date much. Nope, not your fault.
She just needed to date the right
Yeah,
one.
to get the right one.
Yeah, right.
Not all the other
Just
ones.
waiting
They
for the
saved you
right
all the
one.
heartache.
I think there was a lot of brothers like that back in the day.
Oh, yes.
Even if they weren't your brothers, they were your friends. Or,
Yep.
You took care of each other back
Yeah.
then.
That's right.
Common sense had a place.
Uh-huh.
You treat somebody bad, you're probably going to get
Right.
treated
That's
badly.
right. And everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, from Manson and Chelan.
Chelan,
Even
yeah.
the Waterville boys would
Oh,
come
yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Antioch.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know.
Oh yeah.
Bridgeport.
Oh, man. Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about the party line a lot because everybody had a party line, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Right.
Right.
So if you're the switchboard operator, you really knew what was going on. Like, get off the phone, Edith.
right.
God dang it.
I worked
I'm
for the
hearing
telephone company a little
Yeah.
while.
Oh, see, she knows.
And so somebody would call and you know, like they were calling, like say they were calling Janey, and I knew that Janey was someplace else. So I would say, well, Janey's not home right now.
Yeah.
You were Janie's answering service.
That's other number.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
So you guys remember that my dad's phone number was 2 longs and a short.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
well, yes.
You guys remember
yes,
those?
yes,
Right?
yeah.
Oh,
You had to
yes.
be
Yeah.
careful
One
what
long
you
and
said
4
because
shorts.
1 long and 4 short.
We had a big,
the line could hear what you're saying.
big party line. I mean, there must have been, 6 people.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this too, because I find it. We've had some people in Chelan not say this because they were in town more, or they were Chelan Falls, the guests we had.
Yeah.
But then Earl talked about how you said sledding till 11, or
Yeah.
if you were home during the day, that was weird if you were a kid. Like you were
Yeah.
outside playing
yeah.
That's right.
and maybe come home for supper or dinner. But Earl would say they would go out, and if they got, like in the wintertime, they'd be out doing something. They'd just randomly stop at somebody else's house in the neighborhood, knock on the door, and then they'd just stay the night there. And that was pretty normal. Like,
Right.
parents didn't really care. There's no phones. It's just like, oh, got late, so I stayed at John's house. Okay, kids are fine.
Earl Stanford stayed a lot of night at our house.
There
He
you
was
go.
like an extra brother to me. Every time I see him, I give him a hug. You know, people kind of look at me and like, oh yeah.
Yeah, Earl's such a good. He said a lot of things that were profound to me. He spoke at my dad's funeral too, which was fun.
Aw.
Yeah.
And he said that they were very poor, but they didn't know they were very poor because everybody was very poor.
Yeah.
Nobody,
That's right.
nobody
Does that make
felt
sense to you
poor.
guys?
Nobody
All
felt
All the
poor.
same.
Yeah.
You just worked hard and
That's
Yeah.
right.
you did the best you can.
Yeah.
So-
My mother worked at the hospital in Chelan
Yes.
for 25 years
Mm.
and retired on her birthday on
Aw.
June 1st. And we lost her May the 4th, 1984.
So much history here, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I have so many questions. I don't
I
know.
got to tell you a story.
I love that.
One
Let's do it.
one thing that was very common and everyone loved to do was to cruise Chelan. And probably my favorite cruising was with Leo Getty.
Oh,
He had
yes.
he had a 32 Plymouth
Still has it.
coupe, and it
Still
had
has
a
it.
rumble seat on
Mhm.
it. And three of us, I've been in that car since then, just lately.
Yeah.
And I don't know how three of us boys.
I know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's only that one.
Oh, yeah.
But the three of us would get in that car every noon, and that's all we did from the time we got out of school till we went back in. Is we'd go by Burt's Richfield and get 50 cents worth of gas,
Right.
and we'd cruise up and down the street, and go out, turn around, and go back and forth. Everybody just loved just cruising
Just hanging
around.
out, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's
But that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the
Really good.
one thing, if you had loud pipes on your vehicles, you could go up and down it once or twice, and then the cops would stop you and say, "Okay, Herschel, Leo, whoever it was, one more
Name it, call
run
them out.
down Main
Yeah.
Street, and then you're done." Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you obeyed.
Yeah.
You didn't think anything of it. You
Yeah.
still had good times.
Oh, I don't know.
Earl and my dad said they raced down Manson. My dad had his mom's car and Earl had a car, and they raced all the way Manson. Right, there's a gas station at the end.
Yeah.
Then there
Chevron,
was
right?
Chevron. It was too.
Mill stretch.
It was too
Yes.
close, so they
Right.
go to the other end of Manson at the swimming hole and start
Yeah.
again. And the third time, the gas station guy came out and goes, "I'm going to call the cops. You guys stop."
Yeah, right.
Okay,
That's
okay.
enough.
Common
And-
sense, right? You know
Yeah.
when to stop.
Yeah,
Right.
and that Boyd District Road too.
Yes.
Oh,
They would
wow.
race
Yes.
up there. And that
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a wonder we didn't, we didn't have any deaths that I'm aware of
no,
from
I don't
accidents
think so.
as we grew
Uh-uh.
up, and I think we were extremely lucky.
I think
yeah.
so.
Because some of the things that we did, and just being in the lake all the time.
Oh,
you know,
from morning
we
till
would
night.
leave. Yes, morning
Yes.
to night. We'd go to the parks and
Sure.
just be
Right.
there. And once in a while, I would see one of our mothers come over and look down, like, "Are you really at the park?"
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
But it, I don't know. It was freedom that I don't think they have today.
And
Right.
safety,
No.
you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we felt
Yeah.
safe
We
in our
did feel
town.
safe.
We
And-
lived about 2 miles
Yeah.
from the lake,
Mhm.
and my sister and I would just,
Yeah.
if we didn't have chores to do or whatever, we'd just go to the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
we'd be gone
You
all day.
lived-
Yeah.
You lived in
And
the
you'd
lake.
walk and not think
walk.
You
anything
had to
about
walk
it.
all the way home.
Right.
and you'd
Oh,
want to go
yes.
swimming again till you got home.
Right.
It was
Oh,
a
yes.
simpler time, but it was harder, like in some ways probably, because you went through some wars.
Yeah.
Your parents, in the 40s, went through
Oh, yeah.
World War II, and then Vietnam was right after you
Right.
graduated. So, and then at the same time, it was a simpler time.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to people about the difference in today's life? And then if you could give people advice when you look back? I mean, you guys have accomplished so much, and you're still friends. And when you're talking to your kids or grandkids, what do you tell them? What are some advice you would give someone? Or what would be the advice you'd give yourself back in 1960 if you had a chance to go back in time?
I think be grateful for everything that you have, because you're luckier than a lot of people that you don't know
Yeah.
what their lives are like.
Our life.
And so be thankful for what you have, and just always be kind to other people.
Yes. Yep.
That'll serve you.
And it was a gentler way.
Yeah.
The
was
whole
slower.
country. It was slower. Yeah, it wasn't the fast lane that they need to do now. They have to have more.
Oh,
They have to have the fastest, the best,
The best.
the biggest. I mean, we just all were happy in our own lives.
Yeah.
We did fun things like bowling, you know,
Oh,
when,
yes.
when we were kids. And I was one of the lucky girls that I had a car, and a lot of that was due to my mother not being able to shop and stuff. So they bought me this 47 Chevy, black with a visor, and I was pretty cool in high school. You know, so we'd all jump in that and run to the bowling alley for junior league, and you know. But now, my racing to the bowling alley is mild compared to what they go by my house.
Oh,
They
it's-
try
yeah.
to make sure that they can make it, you know,
Oh,
from
yeah.
one stop sign to the other, you know, like going 100 miles an hour.
You remind me, my
So it's just
mother,
really-
Patty McLellan,
Uh-huh.
always knew old cars. She knew more.
Yes.
She would tell you what kind of car it was.
Yes.
Is that common? That was
Yes.
everybody's
Oh,
car?
Yes.
we all knew.
Yes, we all knew
Yeah.
that.
I
Kind
do.
of
In
stuff
fact,
back in the-
that's one of the things that I use my phone for, is looking at old cars.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
That's a
When I
57 Studebaker right there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Learning to drive, my cousin used to take me out to the old dump road, and then we'd have
That's
a cardboard box that was a Mercury and a cardboard box that was a Cadillac, and you didn't hit either one of those, but you were trying to parallel park in between the two of them, you know.
Oh.
And that's how I learned to drive, is
Yeah.
on the old.
And
old
everybody
road to
had
the
a
dump.
stick shift back then,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
no,
Yeah, that
no,
works.
no. No, my classmate Steve, he taught me how to drive in high school, and out by the old dump road, went back and forth and everything. And my dad was trying to teach me, but he just didn't have the patience.
yeah.
So Steve told me, he says, "Yeah, I'll teach you." So, and he's gone now. He passed away last year, so we lost a dear friend. We've lost several in the last few
Here
years.
we have.
That's got to
But
be
those are fun things.
that's got to be challenging as you get older. I mean, I'm already starting to feel that, where people pass away, people get sick. I mean, it's
We've-
part of life. Death is part of
Yeah.
life. And
We've
do you
lo-
then, focus on the same gratitude where somebody like that passes away that you cared about? It's hard. It's easy to be sad, but you just channel that.
You remember.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
remember.
I've lost 3 members of the Simmons family, my mother's side of the family, in the last year, I would say.
Wow.
Just recently, a cousin that lived in Waterville, and he was a water witch and water driller, and he that I just wanted to. For the funeral up there, they took the booms of 8 well drilling rigs and put them up and with flags on them. That was so impressive to
wow.
go
That
to
was
that service.
David
Simmons,
Simmons. He was
Yeah.
my age.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was 58.
Yeah, he was a couple years
And
older than me.
so anyway,
deal.
that was really it was very, very well attended service, and it's just, you know, admirable to know that people still get together. They
Right.
for things like that. I mean, it's not what you really want to do. But and then I lost another cousin. Same thing. There was more people at that service that said things about him when they ask you to talk than I've ever been to any service. It was just, it was crazy, but it was very nice. It leaves you with a happy heart, even in a
Right.
bad situation.
Yeah.
And then I lost an aunt.
Yeah.
Same thing. She was well thought of as well. So I think it's just that as you grow older, you seem to appreciate things more,
Right.
and you're thankful for each day that they give you.
Yeah,
You know, and God is good.
God is good. Huh?
As one of our classmates has always said, Mike, Richardson. She's always said we had the best years.
We did.
Our class
Yeah.
in the 50s and graduating in 60. We had the best times, the best years.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
To
just
grow up in the 50s was just
yeah,
fantastic.
it was just
Yeah.
super.
So how different was it than what it is today? Like, is there traditions you guys used to do that's
Oh, yes.
different?
Well,
Community, the
Oh,
town,
nobody had a
schools?
phone.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, nobody
right.
had phones.
Nobody-
What was that like?
I tell you, the thing that I noticed the most is I've been going to the boys' basketball games
Yeah.
because one of my gals that I play cards with,
Yeah.
her grandson plays. There is hardly anybody there.
No.
We talk about that all the
we
time.
were
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, the
Yes.
whole gymnasium in the
Gymnasium
old
was
high school
full.
was full
Right.
up the,
Yes.
upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just shocked that
Yeah.
Right.
of the amount of people that don't go to these events
We
anymore
had-
and support the kids and.
Yeah, they should. I mean,
And-
I think it's a lot of people because we had the generational rivalries that was built into the family
Right.
matrix
Uh-huh.
because of the stability was a big part of it in all these schools. But I believe, just like you said, when someone reached out to you,
Yes.
for anybody that's listening that hasn't gone to games, you're welcome at the games,
Yes.
even if
Oh,
you don't know
definitely.
anybody.
Yes.
And you might find it very entertaining.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Oh, it is.
That,
You know,
the
I-
kids still work hard. The kids
I,
are still
Yes.
you know, I
passionate.
didn't know this young man. I just knew his grandma because she, like I say, I play
Yeah.
cards with girls two times a week, and so there's 5 of us, and so we all got together to support her and her grandson, and it became something that we really really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then I was looking on Facebook at all the pictures, and
All right.
and all of that, and it was really nice, and it kind of brought back some nostalgia there
Yeah,
too
yeah,
yeah.
about when I used to go there, and I'd be there every time there was a ball game.
Right.
We
You
used
know,
to-
and they mentioned the IOF hall
Oh,
dances.
yes, yes.
That was big in our
Yes,
day.
Yes, it was.
And it wasn't just young people.
Yeah.
My
that's right.
uncle would come over and dance
And
with me.
dance, yes.
There were, other friends, family friends who would be there and come over and dance. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was not. It just was a community spirited
Right,
thing,
right.
and made a difference. I think
Yeah.
in how.
I think
I mean, it
so.
wasn't that
More-
we didn't have
more
some fights
generation.
there.
Yeah,
Right.
no, there were different kind of fights
Yeah,
too. They're
yeah,
like, hey, get up, I got you.
When we were in high school, we had drill teams. She
Drill
was
teams.
our drill team leader.
Oh,
We
there you
had
go.
drill teams,
Yeah.
girls drill team. We had floats. We all worked on these floats. When the 2 years that they had the hydroplane races here in Chelan, the home ec class made Ole Bardall, I think he turned 80 or something like that. And we made a birthday cake for him and took it down to the pits. And he was so thrilled. And it made such a big deal. But things like that a community does together and the
Yeah.
school did together.
I served at the banquet for the Hydros when they, that first year that they were here in town.
Right.
That was a one wild party.
Oh, yes.
I'm like
They were
16,
fun.
15, 16
Yeah.
years old,
Yeah.
And I wished I'd have kept that memorabilia, but through
Oh,
the
yeah.
years, you just,
Yeah.
things happen.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, but oh my goodness, yeah, so.
That's
But-
amazing. There's always, it seems like about 1985-ish is when we started seeing more and more investment come here from
Oh, yes.
outside the area.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 90, you might remember, I think it was a crop year of 98 that was really difficult when NAFTA was created and the markets kind of collapsed there for a bit and the color sorter came in. We were talking about farming earlier, and that kind of started knocking down some of these small farmers that had just enough money to live on, and their operating lines of credit were kind of helping them. If they didn't work out, a lot of people didn't. A lot of people did. But now we've seen this integration. Gentrification has occurred, which is when you sell from a more expensive area and you have that money. And then obviously if we're attracted to this valley, so are other people. And there's a lot of good people that come here, but it definitely is a challenge.
Yes, it is.
It's a challenge because with more people,
Traffic.
there's more traffic, there's more personalities, there's more ideologies. So it's a complicated subject. And I always like to talk about that a little bit from the perspective of people that are, know what I'm talking about, for one, because you guys were like even in the 50s, even more.
Sure.
You know, there was maybe tourism, but like my dad used to say, you know, September, give me my town back.
Yeah, right.
We
And
don't
they
really
did.
get it back anymore.
No,
It's
no,
ours again.
Yeah,
Right.
it won't be ours completely anymore.
No.
Yeah, and it's funny. Do you think it's possible to unite, to continue to unite with more and more people that weren't originally from here?
It really is.
Yes,
Now, Karen and I, we belong to some other groups. We have this circle of locals that we've known since first grade, but we also have other groups. We have a group with a couple of retired engineers from Boeing and that kind, along with the fire chief at Manson, and so it's a mix. We've got our local, and we've invited in some people who are just new to the community, and it's a great thing. And we have dinner together once every 2 weeks. And
Well, Herschel, if you were,
really
and I
enjoy
agree
it.
with you 100%. I mean, I've been bringing people to this, my 35th year in real estate here. I mean, I started when I was in college. So I brought a lot of those people here, you know, in my life. And how would you, if somebody was listening to this that didn't know where to connect, that felt like they were isolated, that have moved here, retired here, and are alone, they're not really, kids are gone, or where would they go, or how would you recommend someone to get more involved, to feel that opening heart like you just described? How would you?
well, I think one of the very first places that I would go is to church.
Yes.
Yes. Real life has been really a blessing for us and for a lot of young new people.
Yeah, and real life is in the
Yes.
Chelan High School
Yes.
every
Yes.
Sunday.
Uh-huh. And they have probably 300 or 400 people.
And what about the stigma? Do I have to dress up to go to real life? Do I have
No.
to
Absolutely
wear?
not.
No.
it's not what you
No.
wear.
What I got
It's
on.
not what you
what I
wear.
No,
it's what
just
you
what
go
I
for.
have on.
It's not what you wear; it's what you
What
go
you
for.
go
Right.
Right.
That's right.
But the idea of just what we're talking about is respecting other people,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it gives a place for people who have kids, and there's lots of kids there.
What if I said to you, "I'm from here, but I'm not that religious, Herschel. I don't want anybody preaching to me.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the whole God thing. I don't even know."
Yeah.
What would you say to them about going to church?
Well, I'll tell you what Kyle tells us. He says, if you don't like church, this is the place for you. You'll like it.
Good cookies.
The reason why-
Bribe them, whatever it takes to get them in the door.
Right.
First of all, they got the best band. They got the best
Yeah.
And
band.
Kyle's the
It's fantastic.
It's
minister,
loud,
preacher,
but it's good.
pastor.
Yeah. Kyle Plug.
Counsel.
Anyway, they have a great band.
Yeah. Kyle,
And,
Kyle Plew is who we're talking
yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I've heard that from so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And,
That's a good piece of advice. I mean, there's probably other clubs too, the Lions Club,
Sure.
Eagles Club.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like with me, I went down the senior center. Now
Yes.
there's they provide meals for everybody.
Mhm.
and-
That's a
Yeah.
great place to go.
And,
You
Yes.
go there too.
and
Definitely.
there's a total mix of people, men and women.
Is Leanne part of that?
Leanne, she's
Yes.
the cook.
Yeah, so
And
Leanne
she-
reached out to me when I put a little message on Facebook because I
Oh.
thought we were going to have 15 or 20. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
sure where to hold this thing.
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm like, how many bucks you got there, Hector? So, but she was nice enough, just so you guys know, that she
Yes.
reached out to me on Facebook, and she goes, "Those are my people."
Yes.
She was
Oh,
going to
yes.
find a
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
for us.
Right.
The senior center is a wonderful
Yeah.
place.
So and there's
It is.
there's opportunities to volunteer. So if you come here and you don't have anything
Right.
to do and you want something to do,
Mhm.
why I've got something for you to do.
There you
That's
go.
right.
You only need to
right.
meet one of these people.
Yeah.
Your whole
So
day's
I
booked.
do all
Oh.
the flowers at the senior centers
Yeah.
outside. So
Right.
yeah,
That'd be a
it
great
takes a
job.
lot of
Yeah.
Yes.
work to do that, and I have a little team that
Beautiful.
helps me. And but there's things to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just sitting around moping,
Sure.
there's no reason for that. Just
Yeah.
get out and get with people.
Right. And
Like you said, church. Our
Yeah.
church is very
Right.
laid back.
Yes.
We
Where
welcome
do you go to church?
anybody. I go to
Chelan.
Lake Chelan
Christian Church.
And where is that?
It's right,
Next
the
to
fire
the-
hall and me
Oh, right
and
by
then the
you.
church.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
always
White
say
church,
I've got
right.
the best of both worlds. I got
Yeah.
all these hunky firemen on the
Yeah.
side and God on here. So
hunky
what
Yes.
more could I want?
That's right.
Just keep your shirts on over there.
Yes.
And we,
Well, not really.
The Joyners
That's hilarious.
were part of our church here.
Oh, yes.
They're,
Right.
Herschel's
I
mom.
grew up. I grew up
in the
going to that
Chelan
church.
Christian
Yeah, no.
Church.
But,
Right.
but as it's evolved, we've lost the kids to the church. You know, so it's mostly adults. But we're, you know, and we have potlucks, and we, you know, like I say, we do a lot of outreach things for the community and stuff like that. So
You
And
know,
we
there's a
have-
lot. What's it?
We have visitors that come from on the west side, and they come when they're over here visiting on vacation, and a lot of them have built homes over here, and then they go back. You know, they build them here, and they come over for weekends, but they come to church now, and they come every year.
That's
So
nice.
you know, they enjoy it,
Oh, yeah.
and we're a huggy church too.
You are.
We're real
Yeah.
loving church.
Right.
We're a huggy.
Another thing is to volunteer. You know, if you're
Yes.
new to an
Yes.
area, you want to get to know someone. Volunteer someone.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I've been on the Habitat board for probably 15 years, and we've built 19 homes
Yes.
to help people out that can't afford a down payment on a house,
Right.
and we have another one that's going to be built this next year.
That's fantastic.
But and
Change
we've
lives.
already selected a family for that. But there's a lot of we need a lot of volunteers for that. You need people that can work in your store,
That's-
and
Yeah.
people that can help
That's a great point.
help when we build.
Let me brainstorm about something else because I got a bunch of wisdom here at this table. So there's probably somebody that had family that passed away, maybe widowed or widower, that is shy, but they're not too shy to watch. They'll watch this podcast like your friend. How do we get to them? How do we get to them? And to your point, when you said your classmates reached out to you where others didn't. So I believe there's a lot of seniors, and not just seniors, there's a lot of people that are alone that I would say, now you've lived longer than me, but I would say that there's a lot more depression and anxiety, and maybe that's because there's too much information and not enough purpose. I don't know. But there are people alone and afraid and shy. How do we go get them? What would you suggest to go, if they're not willing to make that call, but they would if somebody called them? Like, could they put something on this podcast and just type in a message to me, and I could hook them up with you? So if they wanted to be,
The
they're
senior center
too
is
shy.
a great place
Place.
for that.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because
Yes.
it not only provides meals and things for people who come there, but if you have a need, they'll really work with you to figure out how to help with that need.
Yeah.
Or deliver a meal to
And
you.
they deliver meals, or you just find somebody for whatever your need is.
well, I guess what I'm saying is, sorry to interrupt you. If you're on this if you're watching this podcast right now, and you want to get connected to these people, I'll do it for you. You just send me a message. I'll have them reach out to you. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Because our
That sounds
church
fair.
does a lot
Yes.
for people. If we see somebody in need, we help them.
Yeah.
I mean, and
That's great.
It's out there. It's like you say, if people
But it's
don't-
that first call.
first
Yeah.
call.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, maybe
It is.
sending me a message on this podcast.
Right.
Yes.
I could use this podcast to be a conduit for people that need things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Right.
funny, we talk about that in my real estate career of 3.5 decades. And my dad was like this too, my mom, people ask me to do all kinds of stuff that's interesting. It's not just real estate related. And I think that's part of growing up here.
Right.
But I think that probably happens for a lot of you guys.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like a
It's
lot
a
of,
small town thing.
yeah.
A
It
real
is.
an instance is down at the senior center. They have we're exercising, and a lady comes in, and she's we don't know her at all. So as time goes on and she's talking to people, we realize that she has just lost her husband. He's been killed in a home accident.
Oh, boy.
And so some of us girls get together and talk about it and think, why don't we invite her to come play cards with us?
Yeah.
And she plays cards with us now, and
Good for you.
and we've done that with another gal, and so there's 5 of us that do this twice a week, and this gal just fell and broke her femur about 6 weeks ago. So the other 4 of us have
are helping her out with her yard work and a few things like that. So,
Yeah.
but it's reaching out. You have
Right.
have to
Yeah.
make an effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and if you see somebody in need, why see about their needs?
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I mean, I would love to go and do people's yards, but I can't keep up.
You can't do all everybody.
I can't do my own.
But, you know, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's just, you know, but there's people that, you know, are younger than us that are willing to do volunteer work as well.
Yeah, I think it is interesting that there's probably more people that feel alone now than maybe have ever felt alone, and yet it's easier to connect than it's
And
ever been.
Yeah.
So it's
right.
got like a dichotomy.
Yeah.
There is a program too, the TLC program, you know, that goes into
Tender
homes.
loving care.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen spent a lot of time with
Yeah.
who's the
And-
lady you said?
And I would say also, if on the other side of it, if you're thinking, should I call her after someone has had an accident, or you've heard something that maybe they're needing some help, do it. There's no wrong thing to say.
That's right.
It's like it's making the effort of picking up that phone and just saying, I've been thinking about you.
Do you know
You know, that,
Yeah.
that's
a
a
good
perfect
point.
example
Yeah.
because
Yes.
yeah. Just last week, I got to thinking about one of the gals that grew up in our neighborhood. And I thought, you know, I haven't talked to her for at least 10 years or seen her for 10 years, and that my friend hadn't seen her for 50. So I called her and I asked her if she'd like to go to lunch. And we went down to Wenatchee and had lunch with her. And thank the good Lord, because she had just been in the hospital for a month.
Ooh.
And before that, she had other ailments. And, you know, I mean, it was refreshing to be able to just be with her and see how happy she was to get out and go someplace and talk to somebody and you know, be in a familiar place. We took her down to Pybus and she was real familiar with
You know
that.
what this is
so-
reminding me of? A little bit? When we had the walls on for the Only 7 Seconds.
Yeah,
And-
John and Kristen. Wall.
And they really talked about, I mean, obviously their main focus is in schools and kids.
Kids.
But they had talked about how there's so many outreaches that they get that it's not their niche. But, you know, there's like the VA and then
Yes,
there's seniors
exactly.
and there's like
Yes.
these groups
Right.
where they want help being educated and taught how to reach out to somebody and the importance of it,
Yes.
and just reminding people of how valuable it is, and that little thing that you can do makes the biggest
Yeah.
impact on somebody's
Yeah,
life.
it does. It does.
So
And
that's
I
what this
like
reminded me of.
old time letters too that are handwritten
Right, the
and
letter.
handwritten cards to
Yeah.
people when they have accidents or they're sick.
You know what I call
Cards.
that? Old school is new school.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
I do it in marketing. I'm like old school.
Yes,
Now
yeah.
everything I did
Right.
30 years ago,
That's
I'm
right.
doing it again.
Yeah.
I
That's a
mean,
good point.
it's neat to get something in the mail
Yeah, you
that
care about
says
people.
hi.
I had a friend, to your point about there's no wrong thing to say. I had a friend lose a son very
Right.
unexpectedly, very tragically. And I just sent him a text that I don't have any words for you.
Right.
That's it.
And that's all he needed to hear.
But you're there for them.
But I'm
He
there.
He
Yeah,
goes,
I'm here.
I know
for
there
you.
aren't any, Russ. Thank you.
Right.
But I mean, I didn't know what to say. 'Cause what do you say to something that's just
Yeah.
there's no explanation?
Just give them a hug too.
Yeah.
No.
We do that a lot.
I just went through that, so I know what you feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lost my younger brother, Kenny. He's 7 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And he has the same thing I do, which is cancer.
Mm.
And I thought for sure I'd die before him.
So you have cancer.
Yes, sir, I do.
You look great.
I feel good.
She's doing,
Yeah, you can't even
She's
tell.
doing good.
You're full of spirit.
Years, but she's doing great.
Yeah, I've been hanging on to that for about 10 years, and I'm ready to give it up.
Jerry said that too. Jerry Eisenhardt. He's the kind of
Oh,
fella.
yeah, yeah.
He's I don't know what he was diagnosed with, but he has oxygen.
Oh.
And he's so full of life still. And he was
Oh,
like, yeah,
yes.
they told me 10 years ago I had 3 years.
right.
I don't believe any of that. I got too many businesses to open.
Right. That's good.
He was literally so funny.
Things
wasn't he,
to
on the
do.
podcast?
Yeah.
He's like, Russ, if I was you doing this, I'd have people on Zoom. We'd do call-in questions. I mean, we got to talk after this podcast. And I got some real estate ideas too, Russ.
Yes.
He was so funny. I go, he goes, I just got too many businesses to open. I got a lot to do.
Yeah.
I can remember
It's funny.
when I was younger, probably 12, 13, 14 maybe, Manson, at Christmas time, always had a great big Christmas tree. And the community would get together and they would sing Christmas carols.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end,
We did that.
and I don't know what organization did it, whether it was the Eagles or the Lions
Could have
or
been the Grange.
could have been the Grange Club. We had sack. They would give us a sack that had peanuts and an orange and hard candy.
Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause when I was a kid, you never got candy unless it was, Halloween. But other than that, you had to fight for it in my house or hide it. Or hide it.
That's a good night stuff.
Had to hide it.
Hard
But
candy.
the family, the community came together.
Right.
I mean, they were there, and it's just something that and they don't do it anymore. And I'm thinking, well, why not? I mean,
Well, we could start kind of dropping some hints to bring some stuff back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
We want to bring it forward, but go
Right.
back.
Yeah. Right.
Old school is new school.
Yeah.
We got to think of all these old things.
That's right.
Yeah.
Old school is
I
new
went into
school
Manson
again.
yesterday for I had an appointment, and we have a new color in town, which is bright red and yellow, and I'm thinking they painted this building that
Oh, the Legion Hall?
Legion
Yes.
Hall. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh,
Karen doesn't like the
I
color.
haven't seen that.
I mean, we're not Clown City.
Yep.
Just a little opinion there.
You know,
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a little
It
opinion.
was a light green. It looked very nice. They could have painted a different color.
They used to play basketball games in there. Earl was talking
yeah.
about, and you couldn't shoot from the side because you'd hit the.
Oh,
That's
right.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's where
isn't that something?
Her oldest brother,
the
Rob,
apple
played there.
blossom,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
the apple blossom queen and
Oh.
their escorts.
Yes.
Well, they
Queen's
had
Ball.
That's where the dance was,
Right.
in that
Yeah.
hall.
Yeah.
Apple Blossom Dance.
Yeah, that
Apple
was
blossom
there.
dance, and
Yep.
you would go there with your date or whoever, and they taught us how to do what we called them the Grand March, which
Yeah.
the girls go up, they go around, they pick up two more, go up and they go around. Pretty soon you've got a whole line of people, and then you disperse the same way, and then there's the dance.
But there's your community.
So
Yeah.
there's the community.
Yeah.
So I think we need to bring back more
Yeah.
dancing.
Yeah.
Is what we're saying. You know,
Well-
that's not just, at a
Sure.
bar outside.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And the only
Well,
time
yeah, even street dancing.
Yeah.
You know, used to do.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
We used
I've
to
seen
have.
pictures of where they
Remember when
had
Alice
street
Stewart
dances
came
way
to
back in the
town?
30s,
Yes.
Oh, we
36,
had the
like
street
that.
dance there in
I've seen
town.
pictures of them.
and the only
But I remember some on the bridge. On the
I
old
think
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they still do
log.
something like Brews on the Bridge. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of
The
attempts
cruising.
to do it. And you know what's interesting is like, it's easy when you go online. And if you've been online, there's some websites that have been kind of hijacked at times by, I call it the Jerry Springer of Chelan. Where there's a lot of negativity. Where
Yes.
that easy to be a bleacher seat, screaming from the bleacher seats or armchair quarterback. And it's harder to get involved. And yet there are a lot of good things out there that I think somehow, even though there's all these communication of techniques, they don't always meld and match, right? So it's not an easy thing to do when you got so many different people coming and just more people.
And it costs money to put
Costs money.
a lot of these functions on now and then advertise it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
people have to show up for them to try to keep doing it every year and to try to
Yes.
make it worthwhile for
Yeah.
businesses or
Yeah.
vendors to participate and help with the cost. So
I think you
The
said that about
more-
John and Kristen, right? About he didn't want to, sorry to interrupt, he didn't want to take money from locals for only 7 seconds because he thought that he could get it from the government or other places through grants. But there's so many other good causes. He didn't want to compete. And I thought that was a pretty selfless thing. I was
Yeah.
kind of also like, wait a minute, I should be able to decide what I want. I don't like, but I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
There's so many people that want to do good, but it's hard to when you don't have the money. And if you have the money, it's probably not easy to know where to put the money that's going to go
Right.
to the right people.
Right.
A little guarded there as well, right? So, but with good intention, a lot of good things can come out of it.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think community center is going to be a really good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very good thing.
If we can get it finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
know.
we can get it finished.
I think we just have to be patient. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, there's been a lot of amazing donations. I've had friends
Oh,
that
yeah.
donate a lot of money. And
With Boys and Girls Club there,
Mhm.
that's just
Oh, yeah.
the pool
perfect
too, right?
fit.
Got the
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah,
Right.
they get a pool.
Have you been in it?
That'd be
I haven't
nice.
I've been in when they had the Apple Cups
Oh,
for a while.
you need
Yeah.
to go back into it. It's,
Yeah.
they've done a lot of things.
Go upstairs
Really
and look
nice.
at the Boys and Girls Club. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
And the
It's
kids'
really
play
going to be
area.
a real support. It's be a good support for the kids at Manson that are only going to school 4 days a week.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision.
Yeah.
huh?
Is it
What
just
it-
Manson?
Yes.
There's
Okay.
a lot of schools out
Yeah.
doing that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Mhm.
Well, there was that big study I think that came out about productivity or something.
Yeah.
But then I'm sure a lot of parents are like, yeah, but this was kind of like helping my daycare
Yeah.
expense.
Yeah.
I still have to work that
Well,
Friday
that's
and
like
Monday.
Herschel was saying, like those clubs are going to have to step up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because
That's
they are,
right.
most people work 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there are I don't know enough about it to comment,
No,
but
I don't either.
I've heard there are supplements in
Right.
place to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, you know, that change is change, right?
Oh,
So
yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to see what happens.
Right.
right.
And be patient.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
think
it's cool
that's-
that you guys shared a lot of what's currently happening in the town that's beneficial. Because a lot of the time we talk about like, oh, all the things we miss, and but there's a lot of good change that's also
There
being
is.
implemented.
Oh, it's
There really
it's out
is.
there. It's out there.
Yeah.
And how ambitious you guys are. I love it. You're not letting any moss grow out of
I
your
haven't
feet.
heard anything yet.
Yeah, right.
I can't wait.
Oh.
We'll get like 5 at a time. Are they telling the truth on you? I'm going to go play a fun game if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You know, my mom used to tell me stories about like her favorite memory when she was in high school, and one of them was she was the Apple Blossom Princess along with Marilyn Schultz.
Oh, yes. I knew
1956. My dad was a 1952 grad, and so he was kind of a little older, and my mom's dad was a little bit like, because they got married at 18. And I remember her. This is a memory, and I'll get to. I'm telling you the story, but when my dad was giving my Aunt Georgia, which was my mom's oldest sister, a ride home, and my mom was younger sister in the back, 5 years younger. My dad's probably looking, what's going on over there, And she looked, when they went out on the first date, and she said, "You're gonna have to put that beer away, Donnie, if you're gonna date me." She kind of like told him how it was, and so that was one of their like, talk about getting together, and she laid it down because her dad liked to drink a little bit, right? So if I asked you guys, what is some memory a fond memory from high school that if you your first impression, do you have one that you could just share? Like what? Any of them, but one that jumps out at you.
I would say friendship.
Just-
For me, being raised with all those brothers and no sisters, it was the friendship I had with,
Your brothers?
4 or 5 girls,
Oh, your brothers. I see.
and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Because they had brothers too, but
Right.
maybe they had sisters.
Yeah.
So.
I was an only child, so school to me was absolutely wonderful. I loved everybody.
Yeah.
I enjoyed everybody. And like Mr. Virgin that we had in English, every report card he said, "Janey talks too much in class."
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if you were the only kid in home, you'd want to do the same thing. So I think I enjoyed everything. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
memories that
Yeah.
are more than
Yeah.
others, but I just loved school.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I think just working at the theater, that was it was growing. I started out as Candy Girl. I can remember going home and telling my mom, "I can't figure this out. I don't know how to, balance this. I was supposed to count all the candy and balance it with the money I had. Well, I'm 14. I don't know what to do. So anyway, I got through that, and anyway, but it was just Martin Folletto was the manager of the theater. What a
Long
great
time.
guy!
Yes.
He and
The whole family.
they just had a great family, and
Yes, they
they
did.
actually came back to Chelan. Terry lives here now.
That's great.
Anyway, but yeah, and just things like that, and the friendships. Kids had come, they wanted in free to the theater, but there was a year that a lot of people came from Arkansas and Oklahoma to Chelan and went down to BB to kind of live down there. And those guys would come up at night to the theater, and they would always say, well, you're going to let me in free tonight, you know? And we just formed a friendship to this day. I mean, some of those people that I, you know, from back there are still friends of mine, and we reminisce about those good old days.
Did you turn into a big movie critic, movie
you know,
buff?
no, I don't think so. I mean,
Watched a lot of movies.
just
growing up.
I did. I watched. You know, I mean, that was when like the circus show, the greatest show on earth, I think it was called. That thing played for 2 weeks.
Oh,
You
wow.
know.
Did you get sick and tired of
Yeah,
it?
I get a little tired of those.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but I say, you know, I got 65 cents an hour and all the popcorn I could eat.
Wow.
So I was a pretty happy girl.
That's a good
That's
job
right.
I
right
do love
there.
popcorn.
There was one incident I'll have to tell you. Loretta Beeson was one of my great friends growing up in high school, and we were.
That must have been
Yeah.
Jim Beeson's mother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We've had
yes.
Jim Beeson on.
Yeah.
this
Right.
podcast.
Yeah. So Loretta and I worked at the theater, and one night Martin wasn't there, and we had it was like Halloween or something where they could have a late night show. So anyway, the place was packed. I'm in the cashier's booth, and the water is running down behind me from the toilet upstairs.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And so, anyway, I had to call Martin and have him come.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was.
What was a movie ticket?
I think it was 5 cents to go to the movie on Saturday
afternoons.
I always,
Yeah.
that's how I started out going to the theater. I would sit in the 12th row back, the second seat over, every Saturday and watch, you know, Hopalong Cassidy or The
Right,
Lone
right.
Ranger. Or,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Roy Rogers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Roy
they'd have-
Rogers.
And they'd have birthday parties too.
Yes.
And they'd have a cake, and you'd sign up for it when your birthday came, and you'd go up on the stage, and they'd sing. Everybody'd sing happy birthday and give you this real cute little cake, and it was just fun. Those
Not-
were fun community things we did.
Even when I was a little kid, like young, like 7, 8 years old, my goal was to get past the usher, sneak up to the balcony, and then watch the
yes,
movie.
yes.
Then you're a cool
Then you
kid.
throw
Yeah.
popcorn. You're the one.
Where'd that
Now
rest
we
of it
know.
go?
Wow.
It's always one of those kids.
Oh.
But they'd always scare you like you're going to go to jail.
One of the most exciting things for me when I was in school, I was a grade school cook.
Oh, yes.
And one day I had a lady come over and said, Karen, we would like to have you sing for Apple Blossom. And I said, because she knew I sang in church. And I said, well, I could do that. I says, anything particular? No. No, you can pick whatever you want. I said, okay. She comes back 3 days later and says, oh, by the way, we want you dressed up like Dolly Parton. And I did.
Good for you.
And I
Can we
sang
get-
3 songs.
Do you have pictures?
No.
Oh.
That
No,
would've been
but I bought a
precious.
wig and I bought a
Yeah.
Some prosthetics.
some help.
Party favor.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, that was neat.
Oh my God.
My family did not recognize me. My brother Kenny, my younger brother Kenny did. He brought me flowers. How he knew, I have no idea. But my whole family didn't even know who I was because I got to wear makeup. I got a big, beautiful white, wig.
Yeah,
And my
right.
other friend fixed me a blouse and I borrowed a pair of high heels from a friend of mine because I didn't have any. And I got escorted up the steps, talked to. And if you ever listen to her voice, she has, it's a little resonant.
Yeah, a little bit.
It just hangs,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
hangs a little bit.
Right? Just a
You're
little
so
bit.
nice.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Oh,
Because at first I didn't think I could do it. And I thought, you know what, if I can stand up and sing in church and
that's right.
I could
And the
sing-
cantatas,
do this.
all the
I
cantatas
can
that
do
you
this.
sang.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about you? You have any special
Well,
memories?
my senior year of high school, I was student body president. And it was only the second girl that had ever been student body president, and the first one was Joanne Davis, who was the year before.
Oh, right.
And so maybe we were getting a turning things around
Taking
or
over.
whatever.
Yeah, everything.
But it opened up, I got to meet really interesting people. And we had Jim Munson when you were talking about the boat races, and somehow that kind of stands out to me. That
Oh,
it was
yes.
Yeah, that's a
just
great
fun.
point. I'd like to ask you about that. In the 60s, that's when the beginning of the women's liberation movement took hold.
Yes.
Also, you had
Yes.
Vietnam, you had
Right.
LSD, and
Yes.
the free love and the wars. And so you probably in 1965, you guys are in your mid-20s, somewhere
Yes.
in there.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel about that as far as you were the first woman, second senior ASB president,
Yeah.
and now do you think that we've come a long way since then? Or do you think we have a lot further to go? Or as
I
far
think
as the
we've
equal
made.
right?
I don't know what we expect sometimes. I feel like we've made. The doors have opened in so many ways, and I ended up being an administrator at an outpatient surgery center and with 6 doctors. And if you had said in high school I was going to do that, that would not have been it. But because of what was happening in the world, and I was not a strong, I was never a women's lib, so to speak. I think it takes both males and females.
Right. I do too.
And I feel like some of what we did during that period of time hurt women in the long run. Now,
Yeah,
having
makes
said
sense.
that, some of those people also who I didn't really want to be like at that point made differences for me in what I got paid, and really. So I don't know where the balance is, but I feel like again it's respecting one another rather
Right.
than tearing down what has been, because the men were trained just like we were trained to be, home economics
Right.
and all those things, nursing, teaching. Those are the things that we sort of thought we could do, and I think men, what a shock when we began to change all that.
It was
and
hard for them.
It was hard for them, and it was hard for us. And I
Well, you see young men now are, now it's not to generalize, because you made a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, my belief is people be who you want to be.
Yeah.
Be you times 2. And
Yes.
that's the first thing, and I'll respect whatever that is.
yeah.
And so the generalizations are sometimes tough, but my son's 28. He's getting married next week, September 6th. But he was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. He grew up with my dad and me. I mean, we didn't have too many issues. He knew chivalry was a good thing, and
Yeah.
say thank you and have manners and open doors for girls and
Right.
walk on the inside on
Wow.
the street. I taught him all the things my dad taught me.
Right.
But a lot of young men are confused because
Yes. Yes.
their ideology where they grew up, maybe that got you in trouble.
Right.
So you're like, what are you offering to pay for? There's kind of that backlash at
Yes.
times, and I think it could be confusing.
It is. It is.
And then, the other thing that's interesting to me, I look at my mom and my grandma Hazel. She owned the bowling alley in
Yes.
town.
I
My
was
grandma
there when she
Daisy
was
was
there.
an entrepreneur. I think my dad broke an ankle setting pins. Maybe that's how he got my mom to like him. The sympathy card. I don't know. My dad was pretty tough, but the idea that she would get up at 4 a.m. and iron socks
Yes.
and underwear,
Pillow
And
slips.
sheets. Yeah. Sheets.
Yes. Yeah.
and then go to work at the bank. She worked at Seafirst Bank all day and get off at 6 and make my dad breakfast and make him lunch and then make him dinner. And I know my wife now. My mom passed away in 2021 and my dad in 2020, and we were very close. We worked together a long time. The first thing my wife said, "I'm not Patty. I won't be ironing your underwear. Just so you know." And I don't blame you. I never understood why you ironed underwear or socks, but she did it all.
that's
And she
cute.
raised
Yeah.
kids, and
Yeah.
and I just don't know if you guys were like superheroes back then, or like.
Are you saying they're not now?
No, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah.
I'm dancing
Now we
around.
only buy stuff that doesn't have to be ironed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, Fires my iron.
But I think my point is, she graduated in the 50s like they didn't work, and they except at home, but they did.
Yes.
A
Yes,
lot of them
they
did.
did.
Yes.
A lot of
everything.
work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They'd work at Valley Vap, like we talked about
Right.
earlier, and they'd work in the orchard.
That's
and-
right.
So women have had, I mean, men worked hard too, and they had
Yeah.
to do their thing and fight in wars back in the day and do all that. But it's just fascinating to really think about fast forwarding and what you
Yeah.
mentioned about how there's a pendulum sometimes,
Yeah.
and that's part of the equation too. We have a problem, so
Yeah.
we try to fix it, and we go a little too far here, and then it's
There we
just
go.
maybe life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no perfection,
No.
and you got to respect whatever you want to be, you be. And that's the
Yeah.
good thing about living in this country is we're
That's
lucky
right.
that way.
Yeah. We're lucky that way.
We have a lot of these
Yes.
first world problems.
Yeah.
Right.
When my
Yeah.
mother worked, when she first was working at the hospital, my job in the morning was to hang out the laundry out on the line of
Yeah.
clothesline.
Clothesline,
Yeah.
yeah.
Men's first, women's second.
Oh.
And when I got home, it was my job to take them off and sort them up, and those that had to be sprinkled to be ironed
Yeah,
the next
yes,
day
yeah.
Right.
had to be put
Oh,
in this
yes.
box.
Yeah.
So
Remember that.
there were chores to be done.
Yes,
And
definitely.
You did them. You didn't ask questions.
No, and you didn't
You did
argue.
No,
Yeah.
you did not.
You did not
You
argue with your
question.
folks.
Yeah, we've talked about that too. The guys that came out of World War II specifically, and then were asked to go right back to normal.
Right.
And shell shock or whatever, there was no PTSD.
No.
No.
And there was no counselors.
No.
And nobody raised their hand and said, wait a minute,
Yeah.
watching all my friends die was kind of messed my head up.
Yeah.
They just said, be happy, go back to your family, and then consequently whiskey became the counselor a lot of
Right.
times. And that led to some angry people
Oh,
Yes.
that were very sick, that were, had
Yep.
obviously so much trauma.
Yeah.
And I've always had so much respect for the families of those men, and those men, of course,
Yeah.
because unless you've been there, I mean, I did not fight in the war. I mean, I'm super respectful and admirable and grateful to even my son, who didn't have to fight, but he went to the Marine Corps. My dad was drafted into Korea. I mean, I feel like I'm blessed to be in this country because of those guys and gals.
Yep.
But it had to be hard, and it had to be a difficult time for a lot of families.
Yes.
Because you just did what you were told in some cases, because if you didn't, bad things would happen.
It took a lot on both sides to keep a family together
Yeah.
Yep.
because it was such a hard time, and they didn't have all the veterans sources that you could go to at those days
Yeah.
that they do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
We all had uncles
Mhm.
that died in the war, and this type of thing, and those that came home that wouldn't even speak of it. And so it took a lot on both sides.
One of these podcasts, we had Les Hare, and I went to high school with his son, Alan, and I had no idea he was a pilot in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Thought he was a cook, which is fine too. But I didn't know he was like a Top Gun guy.
Yeah.
He goes, nobody ever asked me. Like, they're so humble, Yeah, Les is a good example. He's he's out there. He just got widowed. His Janey passed away.
Right.
So he's the kind of guy looking for, kind of bored, I think. And yet he likes to talk. You should, I told him, you get involved in these people. You guys should.
Oh, yes, right.
He'd entertain
Oh,
you.
I love to hear the history of World War II and the people that were in it and survived it and were suffered and tortured too.
Oh.
I mean, it's sad, but it's history. It's part of our lifetime too.
Yeah.
All of us that were
Yeah.
born in 42.
Too, that's right.
So,
The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor
Oh,
just
yes.
December 7th, and I was born January 19th. So my dad was working at Boeing in Seattle at that time, and they had to have the black curtains and over
right.
all the. So when that happened, my dad said, "Okay, Thelma," that was my mom's name. She said, "It's time for you to go to Chelan," and so that's why I was born in Wenatchee. And then they moved from Wenatchee or from Seattle quite as soon as my dad could think he had work
right.
on this side of the mountains. But and my mom, the Japanese have wonderful gardens in Seattle, and my mother had bought lots of their veggies from them,
Yes.
she appeared one morning to buy some veggies, and the women were all crying, and the men were all gone, and
Yeah.
they'd been taken
Right.
and put
camps.
in
I've
cabins.
I've
Yeah.
rolled with several families
Yeah.
that their relatives had been in the camps.
Yeah.
And they were the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. They were so wonderful. They grew all the strawberry fields in Auburn Valley.
Oh, yeah.
They were
Yeah,
strawberry.
we often
Yeah.
look back at our past, I think,
Yeah.
with like rose-colored glasses because we choose to see
Yes.
the positive.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the past is messy,
Right,
Yeah.
it
and,
is.
and it
is
always will
messy.
be.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, we're flawed creatures, and
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember we're human.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
humans do flawed
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it can
Yeah.
be messy, but it can still be good, and it can
Yeah.
still be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you reflect, you can look like you guys all do. You know, you're
Yeah.
full of gratitude and love and happiness and
Try and put
selflessness.
the clean water through the mud.
There you go.
Kind of.
I love it. You know, ladies, we've been talking a couple hours.
And gentlemen.
But it's
And
sounded
gentlemen.
good.
Yeah, well, I'm honored and privileged as usual. I mean, I'm just so grateful that you guys decided to
Oh,
lead the pack and come out, and now you
has
go
been
back and get the other
wonderful.
15 and
I've
tell them.
enjoyed it very,
You
very
guys have
much.
enjoyed it?
Yes,
Yes.
very
Yes.
much. I had
Beautiful.
no idea what
I
it
just
was going to
wanna
be
say,
like.
I didn't say anything about my family.
Let's do it.
I have 3 children, a
Okay.
son
Oh.
and 2 girls, and my girls are still with me. My son passed
I'm sorry.
from cancer, in 2003.
And how old are your girls now?
And my girl Carmen is 62, and Carmel is 50. 8 years less.
And
Two.
grandkids?
Yeah.
I have 7 grandkids.
Oh, she has-
12 great grandkids.
These guys all
and
have.
2 great great.
I have one.
Yeah, good.
And I see them regularly. And
Grandkids are a fun spot.
they're-
aren't
Oh,
they?
yeah.
They love to come visit you in
So-
Chelan?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
They're scattered.
Oh, sure.
Spokane, Tacoma, and Wenatchee.
I
My
have-
daughter lives in
yeah.
Wenatchee and works at the Cashmere Convalescent. Not a Cashmere Convalescent Center anymore. I'm sorry what she told me it was. It's a care center for adults.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's fun because I get a lot of messages when we do these podcasts from kids and grandkids,
Yeah.
privately and publicly, that how much they enjoy watching, and it takes some courage to do something for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Right.
you know, it's neat to see you guys, and
Oh, it's been fun.
welcome back anytime.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having us.
Yes,
Thank
this
you.
This has been really
All right,
nice.
let's all wave and say, signing off.
Bye.
One more time. Small Towns Unscripted.
Oh, boy.